Most people don't actually want to win. They just want to look like they tried, without ever paying the price. They want abs without pain, success without sacrifice, respect without the grind. The second real pressure hits, they quit. When it gets uncomfortable, they fold. And here's the worst part. They'll lie to themselves and say, I did my best. Number. They didn't fail because they were weak. They failed because they were comfortable. Because pain was an inconvenience, not a currency. I grew up watching the highlight reels of champions, scoring the winning shot, raising the trophy, standing on podiums with tears of triumph streaming down their faces. I watched their victories like they were destined for it. All I saw was the glitz, the applause, the final outcome. What I didn't see was the cost. I didn't see the early mornings, the iced knees, the mental anguish, the countless hours spent in solitude while the rest of the world went out to play. It was easy to assume they just had it, that maybe I didn't. So I sat there, envious but complacent. I'd say, I want that life. But did I want their suffering? Did I want their bruises, their heartaches, their failures that came before those highlight reels? Hell no. I just wanted the end result. That's the first lie I told myself. I want this so bad. But the truth was, I wanted it only if it came easy. I wanted it without paying rent in tears, sweat, and discipline. I remember the day that changed me. It was a random Tuesday afternoon. I was scrolling through social media, watching a video of some random guy doing an insane workout in a dimly lit garage. No fancy gym, no high-tech equipment. He was just pushing himself to the brink, sweat pouring off him in rivers, face twisted in pain, arms shaking, lungs begging for mercy. He wasn't a celebrity. He wasn't famous. But something about his intensity hit me like a slap. He finished the set and turned the camera around to speak. He talked about how he used to skip workouts because he was too tired. How he'd scroll in bed while promising he'd start tomorrow. How he finally realized that tomorrow was never coming. If he kept letting discomfort bully him into quitting, he'd always be that guy chasing illusions, never reaping the harvest. He said, if you're not willing to sweat now, you'll bleed regret later. He looked dead into the lens. I swear he was talking to me. My face flushed. My throat felt tight. Because I realized I was that guy. All talk, no backbone. I felt anger swell in my chest. Not at him, but at myself. Anger at how soft I'd become. How easily I bowed to comfort. How quickly I excused my laziness with phrases like, I'm doing my best, or I just don't have time. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept picturing that insane workout, the agony on his face. He wasn't showing off for clout. He was transforming himself in private. That was the night I decided, no more. The next morning I woke up at 4 a.m. Not because I suddenly loved pain, but because I finally realized it was the only path to what I claimed I wanted. I threw on old sneakers, stepped onto the cold pavement. No fanfare, no cheering crowd. Just me, a biting wind, and my own insecurities. After 5 minutes of running, my lungs were on fire. My legs felt heavy. The old me would have said, enough, at least you tried. But a voice inside demanded more. I kept running. I ran until the sun cracked the horizon, until the sweat felt icy, until my muscles felt like they would give out. When I stumbled back home, I collapsed on the floor, chest heaving, mind racing. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life, and also the moment I tasted a new kind of freedom. Freedom from the chains of comfort that had been slowly strangling my potential. I wish I could say everything got easier after that. It didn't. In fact, it got harder. Because once you step into discomfort and realize how far you have to go, you see how often you've been cheating yourself. Day after day, I chose to train while my legs shook, while my lungs felt like bursting. My eyes stung with sweat as I pounded out rep after rep, preparing my mind for the war it was about to fight. While others scrolled, I was studying. While they texted me to hang out, I was building in silence. While they posted about grind culture, I was living it. There's nothing romantic about it.
It's not Instagrammable to be hunched over a toilet, nauseous from pushing your body too far, or crying in frustration because you can't yet do what you set out to do.
It's not glamorous to say, I can't make it, because you have to crush your own weaknesses in a damp, echoey gym instead of partying. It's lonely. It's punishing. And that's exactly why most people avoid it. You see, the real war isn't between you and the weights. It's not between you and your schedule. It's between you and your discomfort threshold. You say you want to build a business? Great. Are you prepared to work without applause for years? To face rejection after rejection and still muster the will to keep going? Are you ready to watch your friends enjoy their weekends while you're poring over spreadsheets and prototypes? If not, that's fine. Just don't lie to yourself that you're doing your best. You say you want abs? Cool. But do you have it in you to skip the late-night junk food, to push through hunger pangs, to put your body through consistent, grueling tests of strength? Or do you fold the moment it stops being fun? You say you want that dream job, that next level, that whatever you keep talking about. Here's the harsh truth. Most people just want to sound like they're hungry for success. They love the idea of it. They love the fantasy. But they're not willing to spend a second in the real trenches of sacrifice and discomfort. And then they wonder why they're stuck. They blame bad luck. They blame the market. They blame timing. They blame everything but the actual culprit, their own tolerance for comfort. I know, because I used to be that person. I used to say, man, if only I had the right equipment. If only I had more time. If only, if only, if only. It was all noise. What I really meant was, if only this could come easy, I'd do it. But let me tell you what changed in me when I embraced the pain. I stopped fearing it. I stopped letting discomfort drive my decisions. I realized that every moment of suffering was forging a mind that wouldn't break, that couldn't be spooked by mere hardship. I wasn't winning because I magically got stronger or luckier. I was winning because I was doing the shoity others refused to do consistently. I was making pain a lifestyle. Not a fleeting moment of glory, not a dramatic burst of motivation, but a daily ritual that said, today I will give more than I did yesterday. You might be thinking, that sounds miserable. Sure, it can be. But do you know what's more miserable? Regret. Looking in the mirror and knowing you're half of what you could be because you chose to remain comfortable. Hearing about someone else's success and feeling that burning shame of, that could have been me. And that's the silver lining. When you push through the pain, you earn something priceless. Self-respect. You develop this unshakable belief in yourself. Not because you read a motivational quote, but because you lived the grind. You did the unthinkable. You survived what others ran from. And that changes you. Suddenly, obstacles that once seemed insurmountable start looking like stepping stones. Instead of running away from discomfort, you charge into it. Pain stops being a threat and becomes the currency you gladly pay for greatness. Every day you wake up with a new sense of power. If I conquered yesterday's pain, I can conquer today's too. The truth is, life is going to hurt anyway. Whether you push yourself or not, you'll experience pain. But the pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. I didn't win because I had a gift. I won because I refused to stay soft. I refused to let discomfort scare me back into mediocrity. When others folded, I doubled down. When they partied, I practiced. When they scrolled, I sweated. And I will never apologize for it. Because every drop of sweat was a down payment on the life I now live. Now let me say something that might sting. If you're losing, it's not because you're unlucky. It's not because the competition is too fierce. It's not because some universal conspiracy is holding you down. You're losing because you're comfortable. And until that fact disgusts you, nothing will change. If you're satisfied with doing enough to get by, then guess what? You'll always just get by. If you're content with occasionally trying hard, you'll only see occasional results. But if you make the decision, the ironclad, no excuses decision, to endure every ounce of discomfort that your goals demand, then you'll start to see what real progress feels like. So here's the hard truth. You're not losing because you're unlucky. You're losing because you're comfortable. And until that disgusts you, nothing will change. This message isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to hold up a mirror to your excuses, to your whining, to your I did my best facade. It's here to show you that the only thing standing between you and what you claim to want is your willingness to suffer for it. But here's the good news. When you finally choose to be uncomfortable, when you embrace the pain, you'll discover a power inside you that comfort has kept hidden for far too long. You'll gain freedom from the petty distractions that once tempted you. You'll walk taller, knowing you can endure what others avoid. You'll learn self-respect that can't be bought or faked. And you won't have to pretend anymore that you gave it your all. Because you'll know, deep in your bones, that you did. So the question is, will you keep making excuses? Or will you choose to make yourself uncomfortable enough to actually win? Until you answer that, nothing changes.